Yep, we are back for the 6th episode of the TT Hookup, as well as the Unsaid podcast. But we are now on Central News, the current review, where we review the current news that is happening locally, internationally. I am being joined, as always, by my brother from the Unsaid podcast, Mr. Tebogo. Are you well, my brother?
I'm well, my brother. I'm fantastic. Beautiful weather, nice and sunny, bit chilly.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Any chance that you may be a little bit tipsy, given the fortunes of misfortunes that happened on the
this whole
N8
weekend? This whole weekend I was indoor. I was just chilling, minding my own business while people were saying they were having their own version of Likufe. But hey.
Yeah. And the SAB truck that overturned on the N8.
Hey, this morning, about an hour ago, I just saw a message now on Facebook, Jorge. There's a trucker SAB on the N8 just before Botshabelo decided to create a Christmas party on the road. It fell and everybody's rushing there.
Yeah. And what would have otherwise been known as the Makufe weekend? How did that go? What we're terming as the Kufe?
Well, as predicted, it went, I would actually say it didn't go according to the way people were expecting it to go. Same as I predicted, to say most sponsors are going to pull out. They're only going to come with guys from outside. There were certain events that took place that actually created hype. I know with Maporisa, with the Gonga thing and that Scorpion Kings, it was well attended. And also Kayla K, they had Makui Njalo, which had a good turnout. And Lemo Fest actually had a nice turnout on Saturday. It was a full house. And funny enough is that majority of local people decided to attend the Lemo Fest. People also from here and outsiders decided to attend the Konka. However, the saddest thing to Horefela, the money is gone in the province and people are complaining yesterday. Excuse?
Wasn't the Lemo Fest hosted by locals though?
It was. The Lemo Fest actually benefited most local people that actually were service providers. They did benefit a lot. And the rest of the outlets in the city, they didn't do well at all. Yeah, some are just pretending to say they had a couple of celebrities there and there, but today as they're going through their book, but yeah, there is a need for Makufe. Actually, honestly speaking, this is a perfect time for both private sector, government promoters to sit down and have a chat. Because this thing of government operating in silo, private sector operating in silo, promoters competing amongst each other, it's not going to be good for this province, especially the city.
Yeah, but I think it was a good test for capacity of the people to do things by themselves. And I'd like to congratulate everybody who participated in the festivities that took place there.
Yeah.
I'm sure that government can see that we are serious about doing things by themselves, and therefore they will, support these kind of initiatives going forward. And as they do Makufe again next year, they will consider a greater local participation than it has been before, and include ideas of the people on the ground around, the events of Makufe. On the current review, Tebza, the Springboks versus France this past weekend. In fact, let's start it from the Ireland and New Zealand matches. Were you surprised by any of those outcomes?
Unfortunately, I didn't get to see the Ireland and New Zealand match. Even I didn't even check out the reviews because the only one that I checked out was the Springbok.
Yeah,
But I
like
wasn't.
else,
Uh-huh.
just like everybody else. Yeah.
Yeah, local is like a rubber fit. But I'm not surprised for a I can predict now. I can actually give you my prediction. I see New Zealand and the Springboks in the final. That's my prediction. Based
Yeah.
on the strength, I know how the Springboks actually are going to participate through England. England is it's a bit swakanyana to us, you know. But France actually gave us, they kept us on our toes too.
A hard time. A hard time. That penalty, the last penalty, to give us the 29,
Yeah.
28. That was, if you know, if it hadn't been for that, we would be crying now as a nation, and you know, I guess we would be not as happy as we are, but people are very happy now. You know, it was a very tense encounter. I'm sure that France would have wanted to hold on, given that they are a host nation of the World Cup. Now that they are out of it, and they are continuing to host the World Cup with participation, feels like, you know, what we had gone through, as well as South Africa when we hosted the Soccer World Cup, when we exited the World Cup early, and we were just supporting other nations playing in our country. So that could be the same for them.
That's true. You could see how they had high expectations. So they're gonna get us out of the World Cup, but they're forgetting one thing. Hey, this is our third. We're going for our fourth one. We've been defending the third one. So South Africa, when it comes to the rugby side, we've been quite strong in that department.
Yeah.
So I'm quite confident for where we will take the fourth one.
So you think England won't be much of a challenge for us?
Nah. The challenge is going to be New Zealand.
Yeah. And
New Zealand has always shown us flames. They need to come with a new strategy when they face New Zealand in the finals. And South Africans must really rally behind everyone. True. I even saw the president pulling the Mandela stunt by calling the coach and saying, I want to lift the cup.
Yeah, you know, I think he's got a great chance of doing just that, you know.
Yeah. I think it brings hope to the boys also.
And I'm sort of hoping that there is something else that as they lift the cup, the box, there is something else that they will do, which I think we'll talk about a bit later in the show, because sport has got a greater role to play also in the way society is organized and how we relate with each other as the world. Man, another big one, the former public protector, Busisiwe Mkhwebane. A big surprise for me, I must tell you, you know, joining a political party, the EFF for that matter. For me, I'm surprised because, you know, as a public protector, you would want, even former, you would want to keep the idea in our minds that you have always remained non-partisan and you know, uninspired by party politics, but just, you know, having the interest of the people only. Now that she has joined a political party, the EFF, doesn't that sort of say that she has always actually been, you know, a plantation of the EFF in Parliament, and in fact, in that office of the public protector?
It proves a point, however, she has been. But my other concern is that it shows you not everybody's happy with what's happening, especially in their own political parties. And not everyone is loyal to the movement. I mean, like, we can take it back to the like of when the former Secretary General of the ANC, Tate Magashule, left. I mean, there was a time when he used to say, my blood is green, black and gold. And today he opted to actually start his own political party. But I'm quite surprised for it. The former public protector went and joined EFF. I was thinking maybe she's going to join another political party or actually be the Secretary General one. But this actually gives us a sense of what we can expect in the next election, especially when it comes to EFF. I would say my own prediction, I see EFF becoming the official opposition to the current opposition party, which is DA, because EFF has grown. It has grown, and we hearing rumors are on the ground for there's other members from the ANC that are actually jumping onto the EFF bandwagon, and we don't know what we can expect. So with Busisiwe joining the EFF, it kind of like opens up a gateway. So in the next few weeks, we will see. Also, let's see what role she's going to play, because obviously for a person to join a party like that, she's got her own motives, and we'll see what she brings on the table for EFF.
Previously, when in fact, let's talk about when Mzwanele Manyi joined the EFF, they quickly sent him to Parliament, to go represent the Parliament. Do you think that this would be the case also?
Possibility is there, because you know what I've noticed with the EFF. EFF is not stingy when it comes to allowing people to ascend to certain position, because I think they would actually check what role is she gonna play, where is she strong, even if they give her a key position also in Parliament, will it actually be of help to them? Because also you must remember the likes of Boringo and, if I'm correct, Mandla, the former act, they used to be in Parliament and now they left, if I'm correct, but they're still members of the EFF. So chances are that we might see her in Parliament to actually go and challenge some of the rules that have been set in Parliament, or maybe to give her an opportunity to avenge her where she was fired from government. So we will see, but I don't know how beneficial it's gonna be, because we've always known EFF as a party that gives opportunities to young people. But now here comes the older cats that are joining, and automatically they are ascending to top positions. It gives you start thinking, are we gonna start seeing another old age?
Yeah, and Busi's legacy with South Africans is quite is contested. Like there's a contestation of opinion around how she actually did and fared as a public protector, and she has been quite controversial. And there's a big number of people who would think that she's got a bad reputation as a result of her work, and there are others, of course, who would give her praise for how she has handled herself as a public protector. Now, isn't that like a reputational risk for the EFF?
It is, to be honest, because I can blatantly tell you one thing about her. I would actually say, one, she has a backbone, and two, she doesn't have a backbone. I don't know how to explain that part, but in a sense, I believe where she was in her position, she was used to favor certain things. And also now with her, she stood her ground, she fought until, but at the end of the day, she could see her, but it's a fight that she's losing. And I applaud her for standing her ground until the last part, even though she saw her, she always had hope. But in this situation, my fear is that going to the EFF might actually give an EFF that little bit of a knock. But who knows? EFF, they're quite good when it comes to playing with PR, especially when it comes to bad press and bad elements. It's like receiving the prodigal daughter who got rejected and grooming them and actually telling them to go back and retaliate. So we don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. Moving on, I want to touch on a quick one. which I think will lead us to our next session. Because later on the show, I think at past, we'll have a guest from Africa for Palestine. There is a story I saw in the news this past weekend. I think yesterday, of a 71-year-old man in the United States of America who stepped a little boy, like an 11-year-old boy, stepped him 26 times to death because he says he is a he's Muslim and Muslims must die. And this is inspired, of course, by the conflict now taking place, or the heightened conflict taking place in Gaza, in Palestine. That is quite horrific, especially given the fact that it is inspired by religion, a religion which is supposed to, in my view, religion is supposed to be about bringing peace amongst the people and, making people understand each other and live in harmony. But if it inspires a man, a 71-year-old man, to go and stab an 11-year-old boy for being of a religion which is different to him, that is quite terrible and horrible. It says a lot about the religion which that man, but maybe not entering the religion itself, but the man himself. In fact, as the people, we must re-evaluate our stance and our views, on the things that inspire one emotion or another, from us. How do we act inspired by
that it's the most misunderstood, I don't know if I should call it theory or what. To also what the problem that I have with religion is that people tend to be misled and they end up believing in things that are opposite to what the religion is supposed to be. I mean, like, I take it for, there's one gentleman who once said a church was designed to balance the good and the bad. You can do something bad, then you go to church to go and actually ask for forgiveness. And I believe that all of us on this world, we pray, we worship the same God, even though we might call him with different names. Others will call him Buddha, Allah, call him God. Others, they believe in Jesus and all that. So I honestly speaking, when it comes to religion, I have a different opinion that might not sit well with so many religious people due to the fact that it tends to promote hate and racism amongst people. Why, you look at simple, let's take a newborn. I mean, newborn Christianity, I don't know how to classify it, but the universal side that believes in the New Testament versus the Old Testament, they will tell you they don't believe in ancestral religion to praising, whereby in our African culture, we have to acknowledge our ancestors and all that. But when they'll tell you it's wrong, it's sinful and what, they are being so judgmental. But when you look into the 10 commandments that were written in the Bible, they say do not judge the people according to, but they do the same thing. So honestly speaking, my fear is that people are going to hide behind religion to actually commit horrible crimes that are going to degrade and actually kill human beings and actually hide behind that. I mean, like, for that old man to have stabbed that young boy, that boy didn't do anything. I mean, like, why would you fight a 6-year-old for just believing I'm a Muslim? He's a human being like all of us,
Yeah.
So
I think let's leave it at that. We'll take up the conversation with Africa for Palestine in just about a minute from now. We shall be back.